No one saw this coming in court. Every person in the audience leaned forward, expecting something calm and controlled as Keanu Reeves approached the stand. But what they heard was one of the most disturbing statements in the whole case. Keanu didn't get angry, cry, or accuse anyone. He described what Diddy Combs offered him during a private dinner in 2014 in a calm but deeply unsettling way. Among the strange terms in this private agreement, one rule stood out: he had to bathe in Diddy's used bathwater before joining the group. At first, it sounded like a sick joke. What happened next proved it was no joke at all. Everyone in the courtroom quickly saw how much control Diddy had over the situation. What began as a typical Hollywood dinner seemed normal to Keanu Reeves. While shooting a film in Los Angeles at the end of 2014, he got a mysterious invitation. It didn't come from an agent or producer, it came directly from Diddy Combs. The invite said, "Private dinner. Only creatives, no agents come alone." The meeting place was a secure estate in the Malibu Hills. This property wasn't known for celebrities hanging out, but more for how secluded it was. It's curious but cautious. Keanu agreed to attend. As soon as he arrived, things felt off. There were no paparazzi or valet staff. Single security guard checked his ID and took his phone. "No devices allowed," the guard said firmly. Inside, the house felt more like a stage than someone's home. Dozens of candles lit the floor, and soft music played through hidden speakers. Diddy stood smiling at the head of a long dinner table and called out to Keanu, "Glad you made it." He said it was quiet and dimly lit, just Diddy and Keanu at the table. There were no assistants or servers. Keanu later said it felt more like a slow, strange ritual than a regular dinner. Soon, Diddy handed them each a glass of wine and said, "Let's talk legacy." They didn't talk about movies. Instead, Diddy spoke of power, secrets, and earning your place in elite circles. He never mentioned a studio or script. Whatever this project was, it wasn't standard Hollywood. He described it as a role only a few special people could handle. He called it an immersive experience that would change your life forever. In court, Keanu explained how weird the whole thing felt. He said, "This isn't acting. This is about transformation." He repeated the phrase. "You have to shine when no one is watching." At first, Keanu thought this might be some new style of acting, or maybe an experimental method that blurred fiction and reality. Then Diddy leaned in and said, "To begin, you must prove loyalty." Keanu froze. "No media, no attention, just surrender. That's the only way this works," Diddy said. What came next, Keanu said, felt more like brainwashing than a movie pitch. Diddy placed a black folder on the candlelit table. When Keanu opened it, there was no script, cast list, or visuals. It contained only one page with 7 bullet points: a loyalty agreement. There were no legal stamps, no Writers Guild info, no company logos. Only eerie ritual-like instructions. First, even when you can't see, trust the path. Second, don't speak about this project to anyone. Third, like all others, you'll be reborn by dipping your feet in the sea. Fourth, don't ask questions. Fifth, your reward will be lasting legacy. If you want money, leave now. Sixth, you must cleanse. Seventh, loyalty never ends. Keanu asked, "Is this a movie pitch or something else?" Diddy smiled and said, "You asked too many questions, Keanu." "That's why I invited you. You still have doubts," he added. Keanu said his instincts told him something was very wrong. He felt like this was a final test of his commitment. He had seen strange auditions and demanding directors before, but nothing like this. Diddy told him the project didn't have a name, and that it didn't need one. "The ones who complete it don't care about credit," Diddy said. He described it like going off the grid of spiritual trial with sacrifice before reward. When Keanu asked again for clarity, Diddy lowered his voice. "You're thinking too small. You want a script time offering you evolution?" Then Keanu shared the moment that shocked the courtroom the most. Diddy put a small black stone on the table. "Bring this with you into the bath. When you come out, you'll be transformed," he said. Keanu asked what the bath meant. Diddy smiled wider and said it was the second part of the loyalty rule. "After that, you start to become wet," Keanu remembered him saying. Diddy leaned closer and whispered, "We're all connected through water. Water remembers." That's why who you bathe with matters, he explained. Diddy described a bizarre ceremony to show true loyalty. Keanu looked disturbed even while telling the story in court. It wasn't symbolic or spiritual, it was real and disgusting. If you're serious, Diddy had said, you'll come to the next gathering with that pebble. We'll step into the same bath I once stepped out of. That's how I'll... No, you're ready. It's not a joke, Diddy said. Keanu blinked, unsure if Diddy was using some weird metaphor. The bath will be set up after I leave. You'll go in. My leftovers will cleanse you, Diddy added. A quiet gasp echoed through the courtroom as people took in what was said. Keanu said he stared at Diddy, trying to make sense of it all. I thought he was testing me or trying to humiliate me, Keanu said. But Diddy's face stayed serious. After refilling Keanu's wine, Diddy asked casually, So, are you in? Keanu didn't answer. He stood up, thanked Diddy for the meal, and walked out. Diddy called after him, You'll come back, they always do. Keanu was still unsure if this had been some weird publicity stunt. When he got back to his car, his phone was sealed in a black pouch. Inside was a card that read, Loyalty is tested in water. He didn't answer and never returned. The message was written in gold. But from that night on, Keanu's career began to shift. He stopped getting offers. Partnerships ended. He said some producers he trusted began avoiding him. I didn't know if it was all connected, Keanu told the court. But it all began after that dinner. For weeks, he tried to convince himself it was just a strange one-time meeting. Just another odd story from Hollywood. But it didn't go away. Instead, he felt a creeping sense of change all around him, like something hidden just out of sight. The first real sign came 3 days later. His landline rang at exactly 3:17 a.m. at first. It was just silence. Then he heard someone inhales, low, deep, and deliberate.
Oh.
Then it went silent again. He thought it was a mistake or prank. But the calls continued. Over the next 2 weeks, he got 5 more calls from blocked numbers. Each one happened late at night. Every time, it was the same, breathing, then silence. He also noticed strange cars parked near his home for long hours. One time he found a black envelope tucked under his windshield wiper. Inside was a single piece of rough paper with a message, Unfinished rituals have consequences. It was signed only with an S. There was no address, no stamp, no way to trace it. Keanu said he was shaken, but didn't jump to conclusions. Called a close friend and longtime agent for advice. The friend said, if you didn't sign or say anything, just forget it ever happened. But he also warned some people don't like to hear no, especially if they think you're one of them. Keanu tried to move on. He had just booked a new role from an indie film studio and started getting ready. The movie had a modest budget, a strong plot, and broad appeal. Investors were very interested. But right before filming began, the studio pulled out. They claimed it was due to unexpected funding issues. Another Jabba cameo in a big franchise sequel was suddenly canceled. There was no explanation and no replacement. Keanu first thought it was just bad luck or poor timing. But his view changed after a famous director someone he'd worked with before approached him. I don't know what you walked away from, the director said, but whatever it was, it scared the right people. That's when Keanu said he started seeing the bigger picture. Over the next few months, his career took a slow, eerie turn downward. There were no scandals, no tabloid stories, and no public drama. Behind the scenes, everything was different. People who used to reach out regularly stopped responding. Promising projects slipped away with no clear reason. He remembered attending a Hollywood charity gala, wearing a tuxedo, surrounded by celebrities and media giants. While standing at the bar, a well-known actress he had worked with before walked by. She leaned close, whispered, "You said no, didn't you?" Then she smiled, paused, and walked away without waiting for an answer. In that moment, Keanu realized something. The dinner he turned down wasn't just a casual invite, it was a secret test, and he had failed it. Later court testimony supported this idea. Witnesses said unknown artists suddenly became stars after attending Diddy's dinners. Those who refused were quietly pushed out. Keanu said he noticed a quiet pattern. Some musicians would suddenly blow up. Others would vanish without a trace. There was even a rumor about an actor who had starred in early 2000s action movies. He reportedly argued with Diddy's People Land, then disappeared. They said he didn't play along. Others whispered. And he paid the price. Keanu said the entertainment industry felt like a house of mirrors. The real decision-makers weren't directors or producers. They were hidden gatekeepers, powerful and unseen. Another chilling event came a few months after the dinner. Keanu helped organize a charity campaign, but his name was suddenly removed. The email was brief. The board has decided to take a different direction. What Keanu didn't know was that the campaign got a big anonymous donation just before he was dropped. The new face of the charity, an actor Keanu knew, was close to Diddy's circle. It wasn't just a few career setbacks, it felt like full rejection. Another time, he pitched an idea to a studio. In the middle of the meeting, the executive took a call and said, "Sorry, we'll have to reschedule." But the reschedule never came. No one followed up. In court, Keanu explained, "It's not blacklisting, it's erasing. Not loud, not public, but quietly and completely." Then came one of the most shocking parts of his testimony. Keanu described what Diddy had said during that dinner using praise that felt more like threats. He talked about musicians and actresses who had gone all in. Halfway through the meal, Diddy used phrases like baptized in legacy and those who proved loyalty. He never mentioned specific contracts. But Keanu understood the hidden meaning. Diddy said things like, "Ever wonder why he got famous so fast? Stayed loyal? She got the trilogy because she didn't ask questions," he added, just before heading to the bath. At first, Keanu thought Diddy was being symbolic. He laughed. Then he realized Diddy was completely serious. After glancing at Keanu, Diddy said, "And that's why they get everything, because they showed me their minds." Keanu didn't reveal all the names Diddy mentioned in court, but he confirmed that some of the biggest stars in the world were part of that conversation. He said Diddy never directly accused anyone. Instead, he hinted and implied. He made it clear that those who rose quickly had done something most people couldn't stomach. At first, Keanu didn't want to believe it. But as time passed, and he saw the same people rise while others vanished, the evidence became impossible to ignore. He admitted, "I didn't want to believe it." But each time someone at that table exploded into fame, it got harder too. Denied Diddy also mentioned one actor who just landed a massive superhero role. "He's wearing that suit because he soaked for 2 minutes," Diddy allegedly said. That's all it took, just 2 minutes. The courtroom froze. Some jurors squirmed uncomfortably. They understood that Keanu's words had huge consequences, not just creepy ones. The prosecution paused, then asked the next question. Keanu replied, "If it were just me, maybe I'd let it go. But now I know others got that same offer." And among the ones who left, he was the only one who walked alone. Keanu's testimony felt like it came straight from a psychological thriller. He shared that after the strange dinner in Malibu and weeks of creepy phone calls, Diddy reached out again. This time, there was no fancy dinner or public show. Keanu got a message through a mutual contact. The message read, "If you want to understand the system, come see the vault." At first, Keanu didn't reply, but his curiosity got the better of him. He couldn't stop wondering, was this all a twisted act? Or had the game gone too far? He agreed to meet, but insisted it happen in a neutral location. Instead, he was taken to a penthouse in Beverly Hills. As soon as he walked in, it didn't feel like a home. It felt more like a control center. There were no windows, barely any furniture, and a steady hum of machines running in the background. Keanu said Diddy showed him something he called insurance. If Keanu was telling the truth, Diddy pointed to a row of closed drawers with names labeled on them. "You don't need to open them," Diddy said. So Keanu didn't. But then Diddy said something that chilled him to the bone. "Everyone has leverage. They just keep mine neat and tidy." He looked Keanu in the eye and said, "If you'd stepped into that bath, you'd have your own drawer." 2. Keanu said he understood right away. Those drawers held secrets, movie deals, NDAs, and dirt on people who were trusted and admired. Then, Diddy offered him another chance. "You don't even have to say anything," he reportedly told. "Keanu, just be there. We'll notice your silence." Keanu politely but firmly said no. As the elevator doors closed, He remembered Diddy whispering, "Silence is loyalty. Don't forget that." Keanu's words shocked the courtroom. His story was about fear and the power of silence in a secretive world. It wasn't just about exposing one person. It was about a system built on keeping people quiet. Keanu admitted in court that he could have spoken up earlier. Many times he wanted to, especially when he heard whispers about others going through something similar, or when he saw artists quietly vanish from the spotlight. But something always stopped him. A warning from a friend saying, "Don't be the one who gets blamed for revealing the club," or that deep fear that no one would believe him. There were moments when he came close to speaking out. But when did the silence truly settle in? Keanu said it was while watching Cassie Ventura cry during her testimony. Her recordings, her timeline, and the eerie rituals matched everything. Keanu had experienced that when he realized it wasn't just about him. "It was never only me," he said. He remembered a moment in 2020. An actor he had worked with before reached out. After Diddy's legal troubles began, the actor wanted to talk about being part of the system. Not by choice, but because he had seen too much, told Keanu. "This is your moment. If you speak, I'll back you," Keanu promised. But later he deleted the message out of fear, not doubt. Everything changed when Keanu received a court subpoena. Instead of punishment, it gave him one last shot. To do the right thing? "This isn't revenge," he told the judge. "It's about telling the truth before I retire for good." By the time Keanu finished speaking, the courtroom had changed completely. Diddy's defense team, who once looked confident, were now silent. The celebrities who had shown up to support Diddy had disappeared. The courtroom was filled with an intense quiet. Everyone was deeply affected by Keanu's words. Each time Diddy's lawyers tried to stop him, saying parts of his story were irrelevant or hearsay, the judge overruled them. The jury watched Keanu closely. One juror kept scribbling fast in their notebook. Another quietly wiped away a tear. Keanu's testimony wasn't just about Hollywood. It was a quiet attack on the entire system. He ended by saying, "The only reason I'm still here is because I said no. And the only reason I said no is because I still believe there was a line that shouldn't be crossed." Then he stepped down from the witness stand. He turned to Diddy, who sat with his head low, jaw clenched, lips pressed tight. Keanu looked straight at him and said, "I'd rather disappear than be remembered for stepping into your water. No matter what you say about legacy." The courtroom felt like it had been struck by thunder. We were quickly dismissed for a short break. As Keanu walked away, angry reporters flooded the hallway, typing nonstop. Diddy's defense team looked frozen with fear. Courtroom artists rushed to draw the scene, because in that moment, Keanu had confirmed every rumor. He didn't just testify, he exposed it all.